Hi there, and welcome to Painted and Polished Academy Nail Camp. Yay! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to do a nail camp series. This first part is specifically for the intro to nails, okay? So we're going to go and do just a little more, just an overview, really. We'll get it a little bit more in depth, but I want to just make sure that you're familiar with certain terms that I'll be using during the nail camp training, okay? All right, so let's talk about nail structure. So nail structure, you'll hear a lot of people say, I want my nails to grow. I got this going on with my cuticles, so this is actually, it gives a view of what everything is called. So we have the free edge. So that's where we're able to shape the nails into those almond shapes, the round, the stiletto, the coffin, all of those. We have a smile line. So this is important when you wanting to do French. This is the line that you want to kind of follow to create the French. This is the nail plate. Now the nail plate doesn't look the same on everybody. The nail plate can be light, it can be dark. If there is, a bacteria infection or something like that, it can be green, it can turn yellow if it's fungus. So there's a variety of colors, and we'll talk about that more. But there's a variety of colors that the nail plate could be, okay? And then we have the cuticle area, which is right here. And then we also have this area called the Luna area. That's like a crescent moon shape. That's what that area is called. Lateral fold is what these side walls are. The matrix of the nail is the root of the nail. And then next, this little area I did want to mention, this is the area where a lot of people get their hang nails from dryness or from their cuticles being overly cut. This is what where that area is. All right, let's carry on. Now let's talk about the healthy nail versus unhealthy nail. So this particular one, as you can see, does not look like this one. So we have the unhealthy over here as A, and this has a lot of divots in it. This has, it looks like there's a split in the free edge area. It has just, it's uneven. The actual nail itself is uneven. Just doesn't look like this next one, which is our healthy nail, where it looks smooth. The actual nails are grown out. It looks healthily shaped. It could be a little better, but it's still, it looks shaped. Yeah, it looks healthy. Our cuticles doesn't look dry, unlike this one. Yeah, it looks what we would want, nice and shiny, natural looking, shine. That's what you want to see when we talk about a healthy nail. Even though this nail plate that we just learned the terminology, the nail plate may look different colors depending on your ethnicity. But for the most part, as long as it's clear from any like green color, yellow color, it's healthy. All right. Let's keep going. Before we move on, I did want to say that typically the unhealthy happens when we have peeled our nails off, or we have jammed our finger, if we have, just we bite our nails, if we pick constantly, that's what that unhealthiness comes from. All right, let's talk about the types of nail services. So we have the manicure, we have the gel polish, we have liquid gel, and we have acrylic. So I want to make sure that you are aware of the fact that we're going to mostly talk, for the nail enthusiasts, we're going to mostly talk about the manicure when it comes to nail services. Now I'm going to, we can talk about these different types of services, like the gel polish and the liquid gel, but these are more in acrylic. These are more advanced for people who are have for people who have a license. Okay, so I want to make sure that you know I want to keep you safe, which is the whole reason why I'm doing this series, these nail camps. I want to make sure that you are fully aware of how to care for your hands and your feet safely. Okay, anytime you use a professional product and you're not fully trained in how to use it, meaning you haven't went to school and spent hours studying and understanding the purpose behind using it, how to use it safely, what tools to properly use. If you haven't been trained in that regard, I really don't think it's wise for you to use these particular mediums to do your nails. Okay, I think the safer way is a manicure. Another level up from a manicure is the press-ons, in which we're going to talk about that as well. And properly, doing taking care of your cuticles, properly shaping your nails. That is something that I want to teach you. But the advanced, the ones that you're going to actually use products and that are more advanced for a licensed professional, I want you all to kind of stray away from that. Okay, I want to keep you from bacteria. I want to keep you from infections. I want to keep you from creating an allergy or sensitivity to due to the fact that you used a product that you weren't really sure how to use properly. And a lot of times, one of the main things that happens is overexposure on your skin that can create a sensitivity. When you are a professional, you are taught how to properly apply these things. And I can't necessarily teach you that in one day. You actually need to be in a setting of a school setting where you will be able to learn this, and we can spend time and kind of digging a lot deeper than just a one-day course. Okay, so I know YouTube is alive and well, and people are doing services outside of what they went to school for. But I don't recommend that. I actually recommend that you learn how to care for your natural nails and you learn how to take care of them. And then you choose to go to a professional to do advanced services such as these. And when you go there, though, you are at least aware of what to ask for. Okay, so that's very important. All right, let's talk about nail tools. So this is an electric file. These are bits. This is a glass nail file. This is a metal cuticle pusher. This is a cuticle nipper. These are sanding bands. They actually act similar to this, like this file, except this particular tool goes on the electric file. So I wanted to show some tools that you've probably seen before, especially this if you've been to the nail salon and gotten a nails enhancement, such as a full set or something like that. They've used this. And I just wanted to make sure that, you were aware of it. If you hadn't seen it, you are aware of it. These are called sanding bands. Okay. Now, the electric file is used to remove product, is used to, clean around the cuticle area. You definitely want to make sure that you've been trained fully on how to use an electric file. You don't want to use it haphazardly or just randomly. You can really hurt yourself, okay? A lot of these bits are really sharp, and so you want to be trained to do it. I was doing nails for years before I started to use an electric file, just because I did not want to harm anyone. I took a class, I got certified on how to use it, and that's why I use it today. But I'm using it in the proper way as a trained professional with an eye to know what I'm trying to get, okay? The next thing is the glass file. The glass file is actually a file that I recommend on the natural nail because it actually helps you not have split free edge the nail, so it helps you for the nail to not to split. So sometimes when you use a file with the higher grit, and we'll talk about grit in just a second, when you use it in a or improper grit, I shouldn't say higher, but an improper grit on the natural nail, it can split your nails. Okay, and so we don't want your nails to split. We want to use the proper grit, or we want to use a glass file to help, with that. So that's what glass files do. They help you not over file your nails and creates little splits and ridges in your nails. That's what it helps with. Okay, let's talk about the nail file. So a nail file has a grit on it. That means how coarse, how soft the file is. So the higher you go in the grit number, each file has a number on it. The higher you go in the grit number, the softer the grit is going to be. Okay. If you go lower in the grit number, then that's how coarse the file will be. So if you go higher, it'll be like fine, smooth. If you go lower in the number, it'll be coarse. Okay. And so a few numbers that you'll traditionally see if you have, went to the supply store, the beauty supply or your local drugstore, they'll have grits that'll say 180 grit or a 240 grit or 100 grit. Typically, you want to stay within the 180 grit or higher when you're working on a natural nail. So when you're doing your manicures, you want to stay in that higher grit range. When you go lower, like 100 grit, it's going to typically, like I said, be a lot more coarser. So you are more prone to splitting your nails. And this is why I say go ahead and use the glass file. The cuticle nippers. So the cuticle nippers are used to, get those hangnails. They are, I would say, like I said, use these professionally. I'm going to give you some options for you as a nail enthusiast to use just in just a second, but I would not recommend you purchasing this particular item, nor this particular item. And we already talked about these. I don't suggest that. I suggest that you either use this nail file and the glass nail file or the traditional nail file. And I'll show you a few more where you can get your hangnails taken care of once the training starts. All right, but this is used for cleaning around the cuticle area as well as taking care of the hangnail. All right, let's talk about nail shapes. So the nail shapes, we have oval, we have squoval, we have square, we have round and almond. These particular shapes will be taught in the nail training. You're going to be able to create these shapes, and I'm so excited to teach you this. This is one of the things that a lot of people want to learn how to do properly and make sure that it's even on both hands, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's talk about foot care. So these are foot files that are properly used. If you've ever been in my nail salon, you already know that I cringe at the sight of these, but they are widely used. And yeah, I don't recommend them there, but you'll see them. And then this is, we already talked about the cuticle pusher, the cuticle nippers, and the nail file. But let's talk about the nail clipper. So nail clippers come in multiple sizes, large or small. And they even have a medium. They also come in multiple shapes at this little tip where you actually will trim your nails. So your nails will go inside of the catcher, and then you will clamp down and be able to trim your nails. Now you can use a file to file down the length if you want to shorten your nails, but this is just a quicker option. Okay, you do have to be careful that you don't nick or like smash your skin into this, so you do have to be careful on that when you're using it. But other than that, it's pretty easy to use. Okay, and they come in different shapes at this little tip because sometimes um, if you're dealing with a baby or if you're dealing with a toddler or something like that, they need a different angle. So that's why you'll see them in different shapes. All right, let me keep going. All right, so I wanted to give an example and talk further about these foot files. So this, you see this person's foot, basically it has built up a callus. So whenever we cut the skin or our skin in any type of way, our body was made to heal itself. So it says, the body says, oh, she's cut, he's cut. Let me grow back thicker to protect them. Okay. And that's what happens when you use these type of foot files, which is why I highly do not recommend it. And even if you have really, really thick calluses, you do not want to use these type of foot files. Okay. What it's doing is cutting your skin. You don't want to cut your skin. You want to smooth out and you want to refine your skin and moisturize it, okay? All right, we'll talk more about that shortly. So let's talk about the tools in which I recommend that you all use. So I recommend that you use the orange wood stick for your cuticle pusher. So in replacement of this one, I recommend that you use this one. If you can see, this has that little sharp edge similar to this one, and you're able to push back and push back the cuticles, and then you use the other end to clean around the cuticles and clean under the toenails, okay? You can safely use a you can safely use a toenail clipper. And then the file, as long as you get the proper grit, which I highly suggest you go 180 and above. Same thing with the nail buffer. This is to smooth out the skin or smooth out the nails. So you can, sometimes it's like a little rough area. So not the whole nail, but like a little area needs to be smoothed out. You can use this buffer for that. Now, this buffer is more for shine. So when you're wanting to, a lot of the guys, they'll get this when they get a manicure. So, since they don't get polished, they will get this. So it'll give them a nice glossy shine, and it'll just grow out with their nails. So one side of the buffer is a smoother and then the other side is a shine. All right, so you'll have one of those in your kit, and so we'll be able to practice. Let's talk about polish remover, acetone, polish remover versus acetone. So polish remover is a more oily based polish remover. Um, it basically, when you have polish that has high pigment. So let's talk about like a black or a red. Typically, it'll stain your nails. I don't know if you've used polish remover before, but it leaves back some of the residue of the color on your nails and on your skin when you use regular polish remover. Whereas when you use pure acetone, it typically is able to pull out the pigments off of your skin and off of your nails very quickly, okay? It breaks down very quickly. Now, it's not something that you want to necessarily soak your hands in. I don't recommend that. I know that it's done, but I don't recommend you soak your hands in it. I do know that you need to use it, in a cotton swab, to remove the product, but then I suggest that you go wash your hands thereafter. At the end of the day, it is a chemical, so you want to protect yourself as much as possible. But yes, that's what I wanted to make sure that you all are aware of. So there's a difference between polish remover and acetone. Acetone is what I typically use in my salon setting. It's quick, it's easy to pull out, and I'm able to get the job done really quickly. Another thing with acetone is you want to protect your everything. Okay, I highly suggest if you're going to use acetone that you use it in your bathroom at the sink, so that way you're able to, you know, have all of the solution go down the drain as opposed to all over your table, messing up a lot. I know from experience. All right, let's keep going. So we have our layers of polish. We have our base coat, we have our polish, and then we put our top coat. Okay, so that's the layers and the steps that we'll go through. We'll go through base coat, we'll go put our layers of polish, and then we'll do our top coat at the end. Okay, you don't want to skip these steps. Okay, you want to use all three, or at least two. Okay, so you want to use the base coat and top coat no matter what when you polish. Okay, even if you want to just do clear. All right. So let's talk about some of the things that you all were wanting to learn. All right, you were wanting to learn how to apply and remove gel polish and how to apply and remove professional press-ons. All right, so when you're wanting to remove your gel polish, again, I don't recommend that you soak in acetone. I actually recommend that you either put your little, you know, what do they call it? Cotton, and you saturate it with the acetone, and then you put your little foils on it. That's kind of, you know, that's the step that they use in the traditional nail salon. That's fine, as opposed to like soaking in a bowl with acetone, or warming up acetone. Please don't do that. Please do not do that. But what I would actually recommend a nail enthusiast do is file it off. File off the gel polish. And this way, you're not overly taking off and scraping your nail excessively. Like, I just don't want you all to damage your nails, okay? If you overly scrape off or overly fire your nails because you soaked them in acetone, it's just not going to be a good look. They're going to be damaged. Okay. So to safely do it, I recommend that you take your file and you file off the color. Now for this one, you can use a higher grit or a lower grit. You can use a 100 grit file, and you are filing off. It's a lot more coarser, so it'll be easy for you to file it off. And I only want you to take off the color. Okay, so once you see that the color is gone, you can stop filing. Even though it's going to have just a little bit of the base coat on there, at least your nails will be protected. Okay, and we'll talk more about that with class. Now, to remove your press-ons, there's a few ways that you can do it. But in order for press-ons to stay, it needs something to adhere to. We're in water all the time. We're cleaning and moving around. We don't sit still. It's gonna need something. So you have to use glue, all right? I do not suggest super glue though. I suggest the nail glue or adhesive that will allow the press-ons to stay, okay? We can talk about how to apply them during our in-depth session, but to remove them, I will let you know that you should use like cuticle oil to kind of loosen them up, or you can naturally let them come off. You know, they will come off eventually, just depending on what adhesive you chose to use. But yeah, you can use cuticle oil to remove it if you're trying to save the press on so you can wear it at another time. You can use it that way, or you can use acetone to remove them as well. All right, and then learning how to do natural and artificial nail care and manicure tips. So we won't be doing artificial. Remember, I told you about just you focusing on taking care of your natural nail, taking care of your feet as well, and saving the more advanced services for the professional. And the reason why I say this, you all, is just to keep you safe. You know, yes, you could go online and do a lot of things, but there's professionals for a reason. And when you're dealing with chemicals and different things of that nature, there's it can get tricky. Okay, and I have seen even professionals have overexposure issues because they improperly used a product. Okay, so I would not want that for you. It'll take us a lot more time than one day few hour nail camp for me to show you how to properly use artificial nail enhancements. So I'm gonna save that for when you come and enroll for nail school. But for now, let's learn the basics, which the basics will never leave us, right? As long as we know the basics is something we can always build, which is why I'm doing nail camp. Okay, I want to make sure that you all are aware of how to care for your own natural nails. And if you will go somewhere and decide to get your nails done by a professional, then you know you are aware of what they're doing is also. All right, so how to grow your nails healthily. So I will tell you that it starts from the inside and works outward. So if you have, a healthy diet, it will really, really help you to grow out your nails, grow out your hair, and all of that. Drinking your water, vitamins, all of that will extremely help. As far as actionable steps that you can take to outwardly take care of your nails is wearing cuticle oil, shaping them properly, not just biting your nails or you know I don't know, jamming them into something, properly caring for your nails, shaping them properly, using your cuticle oil, keeping them protected is a major thing. We're in water, we're using all different type of detergents and cleaning products. Right now with the COVID situation, we are using, hand sanitizer continuously, antibacterial continuously. So we need to make sure that we care for them and keep them protected. So whether you use a base coat and a top coat and that's it, you just keep it clear, that's way better than nothing. You wearing gloves when you clean is so much better than you not doing that, okay? So that's a huge part, and we can go into more depth of that if you have questions for me later. And then the next thing is brushing up on gel polish. We already talked about that. The process of a pedicure and manicure. Um, and let's see, we talked a little bit about making sure that the polishes are smooth. That was another part of that question. Yes, we're going to cover how to properly polish and make sure that the outcome is smooth looking. We're also going to talk about nail art. Being creative with nail art. It is so endless. So we'll talk about that. And then taking care of our nails, which we've already covered. It's such a pleasure going through these steps with you, talking a little bit about, nail care, foot care, just so you're aware of some of the terminology that I'll be using during training. I wanted to make sure that you were aware and you're familiar, but know that I am here for your questions. I'm excited to teach you all that I know about hand and foot care, at least through the eye lens of an enthusiast. And I'm just excited. I'm excited to be with you. So for more information, go ahead and check out the email that I had sent over. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so, so much for joining Nail Camp. I'm excited. Be sure to share with a friend. Let them know we're having fun and we're learning. And yeah, I just can't wait to see your work after. All right, take care. Thank you so much.